guided self-inquiry, I am using, clinical hypnotherapy tools at times, sometimes using breathing exercises. Just simple skills of self-awareness can all be brought to play. And again, getting back to this, the essential of having a quiet mind and an open heart. We're creating this field, this field of integrity, this field of trust, of safety, where we can trust in this process. And I trust that Ron has all of the resources he needs for whatever healing, for whatever understanding that he needs. It's not about me. And he's going to be shining the light of his own awareness inward, and I don't necessarily even need to know what the results are. So that's important to keep in mind. So Ron, you can just, again, start to settle in your body. Look like you're pretty settled anymore, but you can just notice if there's anywhere in your body where you're feeling any tension, any contraction, and you can just let that go now. You can feel the weight of your body in the chair, feeling the chair supporting you. Any sounds that you hear coming from in the room or outside, those can actually just be signals that you can just allow your awareness to drop even deeper inside. And you can be aware of your own breathing, just noticing how the breath moves on its own accord, inviting it even deeper inside. It's not something that needs to be controlled. Again, it's something that's always present, it's trustworthy. Really good. And when you feel, Ron, like you've gotten to a place where you feel pretty settled and ready to explore, you can just let me know. Okay, Ron's ready. So, Ron, what are you aware of now?
So right now I am aware of my shoulders relaxing. I'm aware of some tension in my shoulders too, at the same time. And I am aware of my breath as it comes in into my heart area and then down into my belly.
Okay, so you're aware of your shoulders, you're aware of some tension in your shoulders, but also of them relaxing. And then you're aware of your breath as it comes in and moves from your chest down to your belly. Okay. Any other notable physical sensations as you scan your body?
Just the chatter behind the eyes of closing my eyes and starting to just relax into that. That happens anytime I meditate or go into a deep place.
Okay.
So that decompression that happens.
Okay, so there's some chatter behind your eyes that you're aware of, a decompression. Okay, beautiful. So are you aware of any emotions that are present?
Gratitude. Gratitude is present.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And where do you feel gratitude?
Oh, it's always right there.
It's right there.
Right
in
there.
your chest.
Yeah.
Okay. And how, if you were going to teach me to be grateful, how would I experience this gratitude? How would you describe this gratitude?
How would I describe gratitude?
Yeah, what are its attributes?
Let's see, attributes would be a warmth quality.
Okay,
there's a quality of warmth to gratitude that I experience in my heart region. So I'd say gratitude is a warmth, a feeling with warmth.
Okay, gratitude is a feeling of warmth.
How else would I describe gratitude?
How did you know it was gratitude?
Oh, because it's like I have an inner smile.
You have an inner smile. Okay, awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so you're feeling this gratitude in your chest, this inner smile. Great. So this is a great time then to really ask, what is it that you want? Because this is an essential question that we cannot go potentially lifetimes without asking ourselves, what is it that we really want?
What is it that I want? to be able to, what do I want? I want to be able to operate in my daily life as consistently as possible from this place, the place of gratitude and the warmth and positivity and spaciousness that provides.
Okay.
Yeah, to be able to hold that experience in a more consistent
way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's great. So you just opened your eyes. Perhaps you can open your eyes again. Okay, that's great. You can look at the camera. Are you still aware of this gratitude?
Oh yeah.
You're still okay. So it's still there.
It's still there. Eyes open or closed, gratitude is still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in this moment, do you feel like, yeah, this is something that you can really operate from this place in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a capacity that can be developed and cultivated and held on to. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so have you felt this before in the past?
Yeah.
This feeling? Okay.
Yeah.
And have you felt ever that you successfully operated from this place?
Yes, but it takes consciousness.
It takes consciousness. Okay.
It takes muscle.
So there's an idea that it takes consciousness and it takes muscle.
It takes awareness.
Okay, so maybe that's something that we can explore right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Can you think back to a time when you felt this gratitude and you felt that, yeah, you were in this gratitude, you were living from this place, you were operating from this place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you think of a specific time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you can share those details, or you don't even need to share those details. If you just have a strong feeling of that.
Well, I'll say Saturday I was snowshoeing at Crater Lake with some really dear friends, and that was a moment of just kept looking around going, this is, so grateful to be able to be doing this right now.
Yeah. And how much effort did it take to
that
be in a space?
Not much effort there.
That's right.
But it's the hard days, right? The days where it doesn't seem like things are working out.
Doesn't seem like things are working out.
And that's the moment to pause and...
Okay, so let's go back to that experience in Crater Lake.
Okay.
You're operating from gratitude. You think of how the day played out, and can you think, was there a moment when you left that space, a moment maybe later in the day when you feel like you were no longer operating from this space of gratitude?
I can, because I tweaked my back that day.
You tweaked your back that day. Okay.
And I was in a lot of pain.
And you were in a lot of pain.
Night. Yeah.
Okay.
So hard to move.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you think back and you really and kind of really break it up, if you really focus in on that transition, what did it take, to go from feeling like you were in gratitude to no longer in gratitude?
What did it take?
Yeah, what was the process?
Physical pain.
Physical pain.
Physical pain.
Okay.
Just snapped me out. Like, it snaps me out and I have to work to get back in.
You have to work to get back in.
It seems like I have to work to get back in.
It seems like you have to work to get back in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of any physical pain right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it little bursts here and there.
So burst here and
Yeah.
there. And is that pain having any effect on the gratitude that you're feeling?
No, not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So maybe you can think back into that night after you had tweaked your back and you're feeling lots of pain, and you can just think back to that moment, what you were feeling in your body, and be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All too aware of that.
All too aware of that. Okay. And then thinking back into that moment. Let's do this. Let's do a simple exercise. Let's have you spread your hands.
Okay.
And I want you, palms open. I want you first to take the feeling of gratitude that you've been feeling here tonight, and I want you to put it into a palm.
Okay.
And you can wiggle your fingers of which palm that you want to put it into. Okay, great. So Ron's going to put that feeling into his right palm. So tell me when you feel like, you have a real, again, strong sensation of that feeling of gratitude in your right palm. Got it. Okay, great. So we're just going to let that rest. And now I want you to come back into your center, and then from there, I want you to think back to the other night when your back, you were in a lot of pain, weren't aware of gratitude, you were just feeling that physical pain, whatever else came with it, I want you to put that into your left hand.
Okay.
You can let me know when you feel like you have a strong sense of that in your left hand.
Got it.
Got it, okay. So now what's going to happen is you're going to start to actually feel an attraction between your two hands.
Okay.
There's a polarity here between this feeling of gratitude and that feeling of pain. And you're going to start to feel how that polarity, that it's almost a magnetic pull, starts to become stronger. And as it becomes stronger, you can feel that your hands are actually going to start to rise off of your legs.
Okay.
And then they're going to start to make their way towards each other. And you can just allow that to happen. Just paying attention without any judgment of the process, just noticing these two energies. Yeah, almost like an arc of energy from one to the other. That's right. And it's going to happen at just the right pace for you as your palms move closer together. As each one does, again, you're becoming more and more aware of these two energies in your palm. You can notice that your hands, starts to turn your hands so that your palms are facing towards each other. As these energies come closer and closer, these two apparently contrasting energies, as they make their way towards each other to meet. This is good, and you can just continue again at your own pace. I'm just moving the camera. This is really good. Good, you're feeling those energies stronger and stronger. And when those two hands meet, Ron, you are going to become aware of something. There's going to be an insight. Something that you didn't notice the other night when you were in pain. But something that gratitude that you feel now brings. That's it. You can allow those hands to fully come together. And you can just really observe what happens when these two energies meet. The insight, the understanding that creates in your own being.
Okay.
This is good, okay. Good. So now why don't you just kind of take a moment, to just, integrate. And so I'll just talk for just a moment. So that was just using a simple tool from the world of hypnotherapy, where we just set a couple different anchors of these two apparently contrasting experiences, and then we brought them together to meet. And this can be a very useful tool that sometimes will be employed in guided self-inquiry in order to really generate insight. Again, we're just shining a light. These are all different ways of shining a light into areas that have not yet been explored in our world. So could you share your experience with us?
Yeah.
What is it that you realized?
So first off, I thought, well, my hands are never going to rise. But I let go of that thought, and I allowed that, and they did. So the whole process was really fun to observe with my consciousness. But then when they met, the insight that came was that actually I'm really grateful that happened. Because it gave me a chance to really do nothing the next day, which I needed. And I had a really busy day planned, and I would have just given up myself, and I needed a day to be home and grounded.
Right.
And had I not had that pain that set me back, I wouldn't have given myself what I really needed.
Right. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. So then, one becomes grateful for the pain then. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is the true meaning of a blessing in disguise.
Exactly. Which, I think, anytime the other side of pain can be joy or something positive. Anything negative has to have a positive counterbalance.
Sure.
So it's just a matter of calm mind,
so this is
open
great.
heart,
Yeah,
to get that insight.
So good. So thank you so much for your willingness, and you can just see this is awesome. Ron had a fresh insight. Simply by turning his attention, his own willingness. Again, he said there was a little bit of hesitation, and he just let that go. He let the thought go. He brought his attention back inside, and he just allowed really this process. He allowed his own innate wisdom to arise.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I invite you to do as a future exercise, and maybe this is something in the future we can report back on, but the next time that you feel that you notice, okay, the story arises that, oh, I want to be operating from a space of gratitude, but I am confused. Whatever the story comes up, I'm in pain. I wish I was feeling grateful. Maybe I feel irritated, and it's that you could use that as an opportunity. I invite you the next time that arises to really just meet it directly, and to see what's deeper. And I'm not saying that gratitude will come. I have no idea what will come. Who knows? But
that's
I do
the
know
exciting part.
That's
though.
the exciting part.
Yeah.
I do know that there is the opportunity for a fresh discovery, something fresh in that moment, by not following that same old story and whatever habitual patterns that leads to. There is an opportunity in that. Your discomfort, your pain, it can be a dharma bell. It can be
a really effective pattern disruptor.
There you go. A pattern disruptor. That's it.
It is. It's
That's
that because we're automatons sometimes. We're just on autopilot with knee-jerk reactions, perhaps, or thoughts and stories. And if you have a disruptor like this technique, you can break that pattern and lay down some new neural pathways, perhaps.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Ron's bringing the physiology behind that. I love it. So good.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the opportunity for something fresh to arise, and the essential. All that you have to do is tell the truth. Focus on that willingness. What is willingness? Is your own beating heart. If you take your finger and you put it on if you think of the I thought, where is your heart? Who are you? Where does this come from? This is that can help you to locate, to shine a light towards your own willingness to be free, to experience happiness, to no longer suffer. Focus on the willingness, be ready and willing to tell the truth, and that's enough. That's all that's needed. And in that, everything else, the test will come, but then that's where this conditioning can all come to be burned on this fire of telling the truth.
Yeah. We have to, it's practice. It takes practice. It takes, we have to develop that capacity because we're not used to doing it. And many times we don't even know what our truth is.
That's right.
So that
it takes vigilance.
Yes,
and,
I like
and
that
veracity. I didn't, for the longest time, I didn't know until probably a year ago what veracity meant. Veracity is the ongoing commitment to truth.
Ooh.
The ongoing commitment to truth. Isn't that a cool word?
I like that a lot.
Veracity.
Entering the vocabulary more frequently. Yes.
So I see we have another question here. So you can use this even when there is no reactivity or trauma taking place currently in the moment. It can be when things are going well internally too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It really is, by bringing your attention inwards when there's no fires to put out, this is an opportunity to just enjoy the majesty of your own presence.
Well, it seems to me like a really great tool for any kind of decision making. If you need to make a decision, to just get quiet and find out what your truth is in that moment. It seems like a really great tool that you can use in an instant for navigating any kind of life situation, really, positive or negative.
Like you said, getting back to intuitive thinking, and maybe that's not thinking at all, but it's getting in touch with your heart, with that intuitive sense, allowing the awareness to expand. You said something earlier about the outside world mirroring the inner, and there's an ancient kind of Eastern proverb that says that the whole world again can be known through knowing thyself, right? Because the outer world is really just a projection of the inner.
Yeah.